Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Downsized. My name is Christopher Durham, and I'm excited to start a brand new series with one of our longtime friends and viewers, Barb Herrera. Barb, welcome.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. I'm very glad to be here. I enjoy spending time with both you and Lorraine. Absolutely.
Thank you. So, Barb, I think we've done what, 3 or 4 interviews with you so far?
I think three.
Um,
Yeah.
so Barb and I were chatting, and we'll go into some of Barb's history, but Barb has, I think, been on every diet, every drug, every surgery, every for the last decades, right, for her
hmm
life.
Yeah.
And I thought, while Lorraine and I certainly have our personal experiences, Barb has a depth of experience that is well beyond anything that we have. So maybe we could tap into that and do some great content with it.
Thank you.
So this month we're going to start the first of what will be a monthly series that I'm calling the Barb Sessions. So
I
where
love it.
really it's my job to hang out and talk to Barb and ask her questions and kind of pull all those nuggets out of Barb that can help everybody on their journey. So I'm super excited to be able to welcome Barb
Good.
to the
Thank
channel and
you.
to do a series. Before we jump in, I have to do all the things though. First of all, neither Barb nor I are doctors. These are prescription drugs. Please talk to your doctor about your health care. Everybody has a different situation, and just because it worked for me or it worked for Barb does not mean it works for you. So please
Right.
talk to your doctor. Also, as always, the YouTube channel, the way we survive and thrive is by you watching and by you liking and subscribing. So please like and hit the subscribe button. If you'll also hit that bell, it'll alert you when we go live, when we publish a new video. So that would be super helpful. Very good. Well, Barb, let's start with who is Barb? So tell us a little bit about you.
I am almost 65. I'll be 65 in March, and I have been big ever since I was 7 years old when I had my tonsils out and was made fun of my whole entire life. I tried diets. I actually have 50 in all these years. I have 50 documented diets and
Wow.
programs that I've been on from not just Weight Watchers, but
Hmm.
Richard Simmons and all the people that were back in the 70s and 80s that we used to dance in our living room too, um, with the kids. So then in 1997, well, 96, I was diagnosed with diabetes. And then in 97, I was put on fen-phen, which, as we know now, those of us who are a little bit older, that caused heart valve problems. And I got the heart valve problem, and they removed it from the market. And it was very distressing that they removed it from the market because I had lost 111 pounds. And then after that, I gained 150. So 111 plus extras. And then in 2001, I had a Roux-en-Y gastric bypass and lost 210 pounds in that one. And then I have often said over the years that I failed the RNY, the gastric bypass. And now I know that it's not me, but it was my biology. And there's still that guilt that's in there, but
Hmm.
I feel at least some vindication that it wasn't just me. And so I lost the 210 and I regained 260.
Wow. Well, so how many times have you lost more than 100 pounds?
Three,
How many times have you lost more than 200 pounds?
two.
So it's amazing. So let's level set though for people who haven't seen you before. You said
Okay.
you're 65, right? Is that
65 in March. Yep.
and you're small, so how tall are you?
I'm I am short, 5 foot one.
Well,
And
everybody likes to know, are they like me,
I
right?
know, I know. Yeah, exactly. You're tall. When I stood next to you, I was like, oh my gosh.
Um,
So yeah, so I'm five
so
foot one
yep.
and oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
Go
no, go
ahead.
ahead. I think you're going to answer the question I was going to ask.
Okay, okay. I'm 5 foot one, and in April of 2022, I weighed 405 pounds,
Okay.
and I had been over 400 for at least a decade. And then I started without knowing, I started GLP-1s. I started Trulicity for my diabetes.
Mm,
And then when my daughter Megan told me about Manjaro, within 1 month after she told me that, I started Manjaro as well. And then I knew I was on a GLP-1. I had never heard of it. I don't watch TV. I'm not on social media. I didn't watch YouTube at the time. I had no idea. Still to this day have not seen the Ozempic commercial.
I don't know.
So,
I don't know how you've
because
avoided that.
I don't watch commercials. Everything I have no commercial. I have no commercial TV, nothing. So
Mm.
I just was oblivious. And it was Megan that sparked the interest. And then I've been a rocket ever since. So,
And so, for those of you out there, you might know Megan. She's been on this channel and done an interview as well. She also has her own YouTube channel called Small Things Daily. If you haven't checked it
yeah,
out, after you finish watching this and you subscribe to the Downsides, go check out Megan as well. She's has been fabulous.
yeah.
Um, well, so Trulicity, tell me, because you're one of the few people who I've ever talked to who did well with Trulicity. So talk to me about that.
I think part of what happened with the Trulicity that I don't give enough credit to is that the day that I started, well, the day that I realized that I was going to die if I didn't change something was the day that the doctor, the electrophysiologist, said to me in the hospital after I was in the hospital with COVID, he said, "You will either change your life or you will live in a nursing home." And in a flash, I had the image of having to be taken care of as a big woman by people who hated their job,
Right.
and they had to wipe my bottom and all that stuff, and it just was a flash. And that day I quit Uber Eats, and
Ah,
I had also been drinking 3 bottles of amaretto a week as well. Since this time, since I figured all this out, I have had AI look up all the calories that I was eating at the time, and I was eating between 8 and 10,000 calories a day is what I was doing
yeah. Well, I mean, when you're that big, you have to, it takes a lot of calories to
to
maintain that size.
sustain.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
So how much
So
did you
that
lose with Trulicity?
87. I
Somebody
know
asked,
it's crazy.
it's crazy. Somebody asked about using it for maintenance the other day, and I think you had chimed in as well. And I was like, well, I've only
Yeah.
ever seen one person who was successful with it.
Well, when I got the Trulicity, of course, when
Mhm.
I got home, and I had no idea what it was. I knew it was for diabetes, but I was on 2 insulins. And when I went and looked at the website and saw that you might lose 3 to 5 pounds, I was like, I, I never lose anything. When they say I'm going to lose 3 to 5, I gain 45. And then I just started losing and did not, as I was telling somebody about it, that I did not realize that I really was losing until about 4 or 5 months later. I went to the cardiologist and stood on her scale, and I'd lost 60 pounds. And both of us were absolutely shocked. My clothes hadn't changed size.
Right.
I was that big. I had moo that I wore. So nothing in my life seemed to have changed. Although, as I was getting a little bit smaller, the only thing, and it wasn't even conscious, I had to use a walker for a long time and a scooter. Whenever I went out, I had to use a scooter. And when I started the Trulicity and stopped the Uber Eats, I started walking. I could not even walk the 5 feet to the bathroom without the walker. And I started walking just 1 or 2 steps. And you have to know, I was in bed for about 10 years. I was
Right.
absolutely bedbound for a decade. And I had no belief that I was ever going to leave the room, that I was going to die in the room. I thought I was during COVID. I thought I was after I had the COVID in the hospital, and I just had no hope of ever even going anywhere outside of that bedroom. But when I was able to start taking 1 and 2 steps, it was okay, well, let's try another one. And it took about 2 months to be able to walk to the bathroom without the 5 feet to the bathroom without the walker. And then I thought, okay, well, I can go to the kitchen now without the walker. And that took another few months. And then when I stepped out on the stairs to go look outside without the walker, I thought, this is interesting. I don't even think I consciously, I think I was just so incredibly depressed and
Right.
so unaware of what was going on. But it took a total of about 8 months for me to get to the mailbox. It was not a goal. I am not a goal-oriented person. I am not somebody who says, "Oh, I'm going to go run this marathon or I'm going to go lift this weight." I'm not that kind of person at all. So I think I just floated along. And once I got to the mailbox, all of a sudden I looked down the street and a mile down was a stoplight. And I thought, I bet I could do that.
A new goal. I
And it
like
took
it.
me, it did. It was like my
Mhm.
first goal. And it still took about probably 5 months, 6 months, because I went off the Trulicity at 9 months. And then I went on Zepbound. I mean, on Manjaro.
Right. Well, so let me
So,
ask you a couple questions then, because I
yeah,
think let's dive into your activity there, because you and I both know right now if I went on any Facebook or Reddit or whatever, there's going to be somebody who basically shames somebody and tells them that they need to be lifting heavy every day or they shouldn't even be taking these medications.
right. Yeah, that's not so.
Talk to me about that, because obviously the
Yeah,
story you just
yeah,
told me that was not a possibility for you.
correct. Well, I was lifting my body.
Yeah.
And those of us who are supersized definitely are carry a lot more muscle than people who are very small. So I think that what I see is when people are supersized, like I
Mhm.
was, and even people who are half the size that I was, still have a lot of muscle. And as we go down, and this is was my trajectory, was as I went down, I began adding things.
Right.
When I could walk to that light, I was like, okay, and there was no, back then, there was no, back in 23, there was none of the, you have to lift weight, you have to lift weight, you can lose muscle, blah, blah, blah. There was none of that. But I just thought, this would be kind of fun to see if I can
Well,
lift
but
soup
so
cans.
I mean the nugget there is you started where you were, and
Yeah,
as you lost weight and it felt better, you could do more. Versus you can't
exactly.
start unless you do this.
Right. That's actually one of the things that frustrates me a lot is when people when they start the medications. And I totally understand, it's a total diet mentality. When we start at the new year, we're going to go to the gym 3 times a week, we're going to start lifting, we're going to eat perfectly, we're not going to eat out, we're not going to, and all of these rules, I'm going to be carb, I'm going to be keto, low carb. And so all of these rules become the metaphorical weight,
Right.
and people trying to lift all of that becomes incredibly difficult. And so not only does one thing fall by the wayside, but everything goes. And so then there's no forward progress. So I really encourage people to just do what they can and then add a little something later to walk and I do, I hear, and I know you do too. I'm going to walk 30 minutes every day. I'm going to go do this 35 minutes. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to add a mile every day. I encourage people to walk until you don't feel like walking and then turn around and go back home.
Yeah.
You don't have to time it. You don't, I have a Fitbit. I never look at my Fitbit until the end of the day to see how far I walked. I don't ever look and see where I'm going. I just head out and just go wander around. And then I come home, and then right before bed, I'll check and see how far I've gone. And it's usually between 5 and 6 miles a day, just wandering without any goal, without, and it's not like I go to the same exact places every time either. So I think wandering, not just with your feet, but wandering through let's try this food. I like your philosophy a lot. Try new foods. Try things you never thought. I have listened to so many people say, I never ate a green thing in my life. And I cannot, I'm eating cucumbers. I'm eating spinach. I cannot believe I'm doing this. I believe part of that is because our tastes
Oh,
change.
for sure.
So, and it's weird that it changes to things that we never wanted to do before because we didn't not do them because they were healthy, but we knew that they were healthy and we still didn't want to do them. So just little tiny things, and not seeing everything as an emergency, that you don't have to do it right now, right now. You don't have to go to the gym right now. You don't have to lift 45 pounds. You don't have to do this. Just do what you can, do anything. If it's only walking to the mailbox, that's fabulous. That's fantastic. But people definitely try, and they're the people that tell people they have to do everything at one time,
Right.
and then there's the people who think that they have to do it. And I really believe that's a lot of diet stuff, because that's what we used to do. That's how we did it. We cleaned out our cupboards. We bought new food. We did all that. Oh, I wish I had the money for all those times that I cleaned out the cupboards
Yeah, for sure.
and all that food that went in the trash. Oh my gosh. Yeah, all those times. And we don't need to do that either. Just when you run out of the Oreos, you just don't buy more.
Well, it's,
Give them to somebody else. Let somebody else eat them. You don't have to eat them all. You don't have to eat any at all if you don't want.
well,
I never eat cookies.
I mean, the diet mentality says I have to be perfect or I can't succeed. That's not what this is. It's not about
Mm,
perfection.
no, no. There is no perfection. I don't believe there's perfection,
No, I
even
don't
if you
either.
try to do perfection. I don't believe there's perfection. I think there's great disappointment when you
Yeah.
try to the goal of perfection. I think that
Well, you
that
set
leads
yourself up
to
to
a lot of
fail.
sadness.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Why don't we know that? All the times we did that, and how do we not know that? And then why do we encourage others to do that? I can't grasp what that is. That's really ingrained in our head,
Yeah.
really ingrained. So
Well, it's a different life when you treat it medically versus doing it as a diet. It is.
definitely.
Well, so when you see, so we're obviously at the beginning of the year, the new orals, oral Wegovy's out. We've got orforglipron coming on. There's a lot of people thinking about this right now. There's a lot of people, maybe
Hmm.
they've got the shot in the refrigerator or a brand new bottle of pills they don't know what to do with.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you understand about these medications that they don't quite know yet?
They are something like you've never had before. I don't know, even people who've had depression over the years and had to go on Prozac or things like that. I don't even think they can understand the dramatic improvement that happens with taking the GLP-1. It is it's just so understated to say night and day, or that it's a 180, or those are all just tiny little ways to describe what happens with these medications. And yes, they do not work for an incredibly minute group of people, but there's new ones coming on, like you just said.
Yep.
And but for most of us, they work. They don't work zippity doo dah. They don't go, you don't go 50 pounds in 3 months and you're all done. You don't do that. That's not what happens. But the half a pound to 2 pounds a week, most people do that. And it's great. Some of us lose faster. Me, I'm a super responder, as is my daughter Megan, as is my son Tristan, and we're all super responders. But that lets me know, and I've talked to scientists who believe that that's a genetic component.
Yeah.
We have
Which
no
we have no
control over
control.
our right. We have no control over our genetics. We just are we are who we are and what we are. So the what do I know that they don't know that they need to know? It doesn't do any harm to try. Yes, you may get side effects, but those can be taken care of. Those can be
Hmm.
mitigated with medication and help as well. And believe me, I was a midwife for a long time. I'm a retired midwife, and I was in the birth world for about 32 years. And I was a home birth midwife and a birth center midwife. And midwives are notorious for not taking medications. And I was the outlier because I did whatever I needed to do. Here, take this homeopathic. Here, this will take care of it. But and I was like, no, give me the medication. But I know that there are people like that. I don't take an aspirin. Why would I take a shot? I don't do Tylenol or take ibuprofen. I don't do this. But I promise, if you were told that you had cancer, it's an incredibly rare person that would not take treatment.
Yeah, for sure.
Most people would do that. So there are lines to that accepting medication. And I think with these medications, the line has come closer to us and that we're able to tap into them. They are the words miraculous, incredible, amazing. That doesn't even cover it at all. At all. They are just so, they took me, as an example, they took me from that 405-pound person in bed, and now I weigh 125 pounds and I walk 5 to 6 miles a day just to go for a walk. That's not even going to Disney and walking for 8 miles like
Yeah, a
I
long
did
way.
a year
Yeah.
and a half. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, so I'm curious because I mean, you have every reason in the world to be skeptical about medicine. I mean, fen-phen alone hurt your heart. They paid you a
Mm-hmm.
lot of money because
Mm-hmm.
that stuff was not good,
Yeah.
right? I mean, and that's
Yeah.
not the only one, right? So
Right.
you've been through it all. So when you looked, and I mean, I guess you had the advantage of you didn't really know you were on a GLP-1 to begin with, but
Right. Right.
when you look at it now and you see, you know, there's people can have serious side effects. It's no joke. I mean,
Yeah.
how do you get over that skepticism and look at it and go, this is something I want to try?
I think turning it a little bit, and we've done this a lot, the side effects. Side
Hmm.
effects can be nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, headaches, hair falling out, getting cold, things like that. But what's the other side? The other side, heart disease, liver disease, kidney disease, diabetes, not being able to walk and needing to have knee replacement surgery, not being able to play with your grandkids, not being able to walk your daughter down the aisle as your goal was is definitely to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
That when we turn it a little bit and are able to look at it like it's a globe, one of the snow globes, and the stuff settles, all the all the snow settles, then we can get a good look at, oh, okay. So I think that the positive side effects are downplayed much too much, much too much. And I don't get part of this is you and I were big. I was supersized. You were really big
Yeah.
as well. And we could see on the horizon what was possible. People that have 50 pounds to lose may not see that far on the horizon. They may not need to go that far to imagine a whole new life like I was able to and like you
I
were
mean,
able
yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah. We were imagining being dead. It wasn't,
Hmm.
you know, I mean, when I looked at it, and honestly, I kind of at the beginning thought it was all a scam. I was like, ah, we're just flushing money down the
And
toilet.
I
It's a
never even
scam.
cared. I
It's
was
a
like,
scam.
sure, I'll try it. What the
But
heck?
I I thought I was going to be dead. I know you
Right.
thought the same thing.
Hmm. Yeah.
So what did I have to lose? Because the side effects of obesity
Oh,
are
yeah.
death.
What do you have to lose? That's
This
exactly right.
Jamie Seltzer likes to say, well, if it turns out I grow a tail from GLP-1s, then I'll have the best damn looking tail anybody has because that's
Exactly.
better than being dead.
Exactly. And then, but and where we're talking is that the people that are not as obese or do not
Hmm.
have obesity as much as we did may not see that vision in their life. I think you have to be pretty big. I use the word
Yeah, no,
fat
I
for
agree.
myself, but you have to be pretty fat to be able to think, I'm going to die or I need to take this medicine. Because there are people that are 20, 30 pounds who need it for their heart. There's no judgment for people that take
Yeah,
it that
absolutely.
only need to lose 20 or 30 pounds, or for their sleep apnea. Skinny people get sleep apnea too.
That's right.
And so I just don't think they have the same vantage point.
Hmm.
But I want you and I to be the cautionary tale.
Well, I mean, I didn't wake
I
up
want to
and
be
be
the
100
one.
pounds overweight. It didn't just happen one day. I didn't choose go, I'm going to be 100 pounds overweight today or 200 pounds or 300 pounds,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. And I was big for a long time, and I did a lot of fat activism back in
yeah.
the 80s. And people a lot say, but I'm healthy. I'm fat and I'm healthy. Well, I was fat and healthy until I wasn't.
Well, it's the advantage of youth, right? It's not as
And
many
that's
miles
the
on that body.
exactly. And that's the other part of the not having the vantage point of us looking at death so closely
Hmm.
because they're still far away from it. They're not incapacitated the way we were. They're not having to see the doctor for this, that, and the other thing, or taking a pill for the high blood pressure. They're not having to do that yet. But you and I and other people like us, Jamie Selsler, Mona in
Yeah,
Ireland, all of
yeah.
us can absolutely be the cautionary tale of what can happen unless you stop it right now.
Well, and honestly, to me, and it blows people's mind, I think the most exciting opportunity moving forward is really, is it possible to prevent a kid from being 50 pounds overweight, 100 pounds overweight when they're 12?
In a
And how much
second, I would
and
have
how
taken
much
that
life would they buy
medication.
back? I mean, if you could stop,
I can't even imagine. It's going to
could
make me
stop
cry.
my kid, your kid from being heavy, they probably gain a decade in their life, maybe more.
Yeah. Yeah. I just read a study, and I think you may have even reported on it. There was a study that showed that 1 year on GLP-1s, I'll have to find it and
Yeah.
then I'll connect it down there. But GLP-1s for 1 year with people who are morbidly obese, have morbid obesity, gain 20 years on their life after just
Oh,
one
yeah,
year.
that's it. Um, Talk to me about your why. I know you've gone through various iterations of why and some whys that you don't think were very good whys. So,
Yeah. Why am I on the medication? Why did I try and lose weight? The instantaneous one from before GLP-1s was because I wanted to be thin. I wanted to be normal. That's probably a better word than thin, normal. Because when you're super big, people ignore you or they make fun of you. And I tried so many ways to lose weight, including walking for exercise. And I've had eggs thrown at me. I've had oranges thrown at me. I've had millions of people yelling at me, mooing, and things like that. So it is easy to see why I wanted to be normal. I did not want to have that experience. And now that I'm smaller, and this is a whole topic on its own, but people are nice. They open the doors for me, they smile, they're very
mhm.
kind. And there's a part of me that's like, you hypocrite,
Yeah.
you hypocrite. I'm the same exact person that I was. I just happen to be in a smaller body. And that I trying to figure out how that bodes for people that number one cannot access the medications or cannot medically take the medications, and they're being treated so poorly as people with severe morbid obesity. I don't know where the balance comes in, but it's very distressing to be treated so kindly after being treated so hatefully my whole life. It's bizarre. It's like, who are you looking at? You're looking
No,
at
it
me.
just,
Okay.
I don't know, some days people are nice, and I think you don't even realize it until things like that happen. And I don't know. It's we could all be nicer. That's for sure.
That's
What do you
correct.
think your why is today?
Oh, I've got grandbabies. I got
That's a good why.
grandbabies. Yeah, I've got my 3 kids and my 5 grandbabies, and when I was in bed and even before, because the oldest now is 14. And so she knew me only when I was that big and I was unable to move. And the they did not know me. I would go to visit once every 4, 5, 6 years, something like that. And they did not know me. And now we write letters back and forth. They know who I am. Nanny plays with them. Last summer, I jumped on a trampoline for the first time. I've danced with them. I played pickleball with them. They're awesome pickleball players. And I played, and I was like, no, 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 because that's me, is not wanting to try new things. And they said, come on, Nanny, do it. And I loved it. It was so much fun. So they're definitely one of the biggest whys. So, and then I'm a writer. I'm writing. I've got to write my memoirs, what I've got to do. So that's
Well,
another
so
big
Barb
why.
has a channel, a YouTube channel as well called Health at Any Cost. And then you have a website blog, right? Also called Health at Any Cost. And you have a Substack called
Yeah.
Health at Any Cost
Yeah. I'm
that
migrating my blog over to Substack. So yeah.
I'll leave links underneath so you guys can go check out all the stuff that Barb does. And please go like, subscribe, do all the fun things.
Thank you.
Um, because she publishes regularly and has a very unique perspective that we appreciate. If there's somebody out there sitting there that's a couple of weeks in now with Zepbound Manjaro, with Wegovy, Ozempic, it doesn't really
Hmm.
matter, right?
Right.
Um, why would you tell them to watch on the scale instead of pounds? Because we get so stuck on that scale, on that number,
I
right?
know.
What do you tell them?
So I've come up with an analogy about that scale that to me, being on GLP-1s is like being at our favorite beach, whether it's in Bali or Miami Beach or Key West or wherever. That's how I see what we're doing on GLP-1s. And the scale is a shell in the sand.
Mhm.
And we pick up the shell and we look at it and we admire it and then we put it back down. Sometimes we collect it with us. That's, collecting data. People do that. But it's such a small part of what our life becomes. Living by the scale is asking for sadness and pain,
Yeah,
whether it goes up, whether it goes down. Because when it goes up, you're worried about it going down. When it goes down, you cry and you think it'll never go back up again. I like to remind people or tell people, because most people don't even know, that scales didn't even come into existence until the late 1800s. They didn't even exist for people. They existed for money and for fruit and things like that, but not for people. So scales are so brand new that if we could remember what it was like to live without a scale, I think we'd be a lot happier. Mind you, I weigh every morning.
me too. So, if I recall correctly, you never actually had a goal weight, right? Talk to me about your thought process there. What were you looking at?
When I had the gastric bypass, I didn't have a goal weight either. I just kind of let it happen because it was so fast and it was just incredible. And I got to 150 and went to try on clothes and I put on a size 8 and I freaked out at 150. I felt so small and so vulnerable that I walked out with that size 8 on my butt and said, I need to eat some chips. And that was the end of the RNY. And that was a total psychological issue. So this time, as I was going down, I was in physical therapy the day that I hit 150.
Was
And
there
I had
rainbows and unicorns?
no. But I also had a little bit of fear is what I had.
Okay.
Am I gonna go back up again? Am I gonna be able to go over this? And I said, nope, I'm just gonna keep doing what I know that I'm supposed to do. And I know you and I disagree on this, but I believe that I was eating the calories that I needed to support me at 125 pounds.
Hmm.
That I just ate what I knew that I not I don't even like should be eating, but the
Right.
things that were good for me and good for my body, clearly because my diabetes disappeared, my liver disease disappeared, my kidneys improved tremendously, my heart failure was all gone. So I was doing the right things. And so I just kept going down and I wasn't scared anymore. And when I stand next to people like you and other people, and I see, like even my son Tristan and even Megan, when I stand next to them and
Tristan's
I
taller
see
than
how
I am.
small and I see how small I am, it's
Hmm.
just, I've never been small before. It's surreal to look at what I look like now. But yeah, I
Yeah.
never had a goal, and people do have goals, and that's great. I think that the
Hmm.
only having a scale goal is probably not the best idea. Having a goal to go to Disney and wander around with your kids, or to go to the polo match in, you know, wherever with your family, go to a show and sit in a theater in a seat that you can actually sit in and not have to get, like I did, have to use a folding metal chair and sit in the wheelchair section because my butt wouldn't fit in the theater seat. So goals can be much, and I'm hoping can be much more than just a scale. The scale is this much of who we are and what we become. So my scale goes up and down now, and I'm just like, okay, because that's normal. It's so, if people think they're going to get to 125 or 135 or 145 and it's just going to be one line, there's no way. The body doesn't do that. And if
No.
we didn't have a scale, we wouldn't know that we were going up and down. It would just be a nothing. But yeah, we've got the scale. And so people get very, very, very obsessed with it.
Well, and there's no finish line, right?
There is no finish line. And that can be scary and that can be comforting at the same time. Because when I watch people look way far away and way ahead, and they're like, okay, so when I get to next year, I need to be lifting 300 million pounds over my head, or when I get to this, that, and the other thing, that I'm going to be doing this. And again, goals are good, but staying in the moment has a lot to be said for. Being able to stay where you are, enjoying the moment of what's going on. And trite as it may be, cliche, we never know when we're going to go. You might as
Yes.
well enjoy every second that you've got, whatever it happens to be, fat, small, big, you know, whatever. But always thinking ahead. When people look ahead, I've done this with midwifery. When people look ahead, sometimes they trip over their own feet. So if you're looking down and following your path, then you're going to be not falling over branches that are coming at you under your feet and things like that. So just trying to enjoy what it is that you're doing at that moment. And I love when you said, did, you know, unicorns come out or did a rainbow show up? No, 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 none of that happened. And unless you want to say every day is like that.
I like that. Nothing wrong with that. I so as you look forward then, right? So are you afraid to die still? Or to die right now even worse? A little bit.
Well, we're going to push the two cancers I have aside
Yeah,
and just
yeah,
look at my weight, we'll just look at the weight and everything.
right.
I have a grain of terror that I will gain the weight back, but it's only a
Hmm.
grain. Everything else is glorious. I don't have any fear of dying from
Hmm.
weight related anything at the moment. And God, that's freeing. To have gone my entire life, 60 years, worrying about every step that I'm going to have a heart attack, that I'm going to just not be able to do this, that, or the other thing. And to be able to do those things now it's just incredible. It's just amazing to be able to do it. So that's one of the things that I try to let people know. As wonderful as you think it's going to be when you're done with the medication or in maintenance, not done with the medication because I'm taking them forever. And you?
Me too.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
So, but when you get to that goal, when you get to that place and you're in your permanent plateau, which is exactly what maintenance is, when you get there, knowing that you don't have to worry about dying, you get to just be who you are, do those things that you've wanted to do. It's much more amazing when you look back and see where you've been. It's just it's just amazing.
I
Sorry,
mean, it's
waxing
interesting.
poetic.
No, no, I think it's beautiful. I mean, somebody asked me about it the other day, and I'm like, we do a weekly weigh-in and have for 2 years now. And the first, I guess, I don't know, 15 months of it was actually a weigh-in. And I mean, we still
Hmm.
give our weights, but it's sort of a non-thing, right? And he's like, well, what do you do? I'm like, well, honestly, it's just kind of everyday boring. It's not, which I kind of like because
Well,
it
I
means,
think that's what I'm going to ask you is did
yeah,
you ever, 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 ever think that you would have an everyday boring life like this that didn't
not with
revolve
weight,
around
not
weight?
with health
Right,
or blood pressure
right,
or sleep
right.
apnea or honestly,
So it's
no,
like not only did we shed fat, we shed all of those fears and painful memories and anxiety and we just let all that go with the medication and trying to explain that to somebody who's just starting probably is so abstract that it's probably difficult to even imagine.
I told one of my friends the other day, I'm like, this is one of those weird things. It's like having children. Until you actually do it, you're not going to understand it.
Correct.
You don't understand how much you're going to love that baby,
Correct.
and you do not understand what this
Right.
pen is going to do.
That's right. That's right.
And I can give you books and magazines and YouTube
Talk to
channels.
people. Yep.
You're
Yep.
still
Yep.
not going to understand.
Exactly. Exactly. And we didn't either.
Nope.
I know I certainly didn't have
Mm-mm.
any idea that I would be out of bed, walking on YouTube. I mean, I just had no concept of what was possible in the world. And I want to talk for a second about you and the executives and how all the
Yeah.
people who are upper echelon in business and entertainment and things like that and what they look like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've said it many times on the channel because I worked for two of the largest retailers in the country. So, and I wasn't a vice president or else. I was a schmuckety schmucking. But we would have big corporate meetings, and the CEO and the president, and they're all sitting up there, and they're all tall, skinny white guys. There's one lady of color who's the HR lady. Nobody's fat. Look down another level. Nobody's fat. Basically, and they never said it. They would never say it. But if I had wanted to move up in those companies, I would have had to. And honestly, they had already formed their opinion, so it probably wouldn't have mattered. I was already the fat guy, but the only way I would have had any chance is to lose weight.
Wouldn't it be an interesting study to look at CEOs who are under who are within the normal BMI, not that that's
Hmm.
a be all and end all, to look and see what they do. Do they just have the genetics? Do they eat like birds? Do they
Oh,
exercise all the time? It'd be so interesting to figure out what they did to all look like people that live in LA or San Diego. They're all
uh,
nice and pretty and
yeah,
yeah,
hard to
interesting.
say. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different worlds there. Well,
Yep.
so closing up in this first Barb session, and we'll do one of these each month, second or third week of the month, probably. We'll figure out the actual timing on it. Um, what we want to be able to do is first of all leave you with some wisdom from Barb, kind of, and I'll ask a question in a minute, Barb, and you can impart. But we also want to give you the opportunity to ask Barb questions.
Mm.
So you can leave questions for Barb underneath in the comments. Please make sure you use a question mark. And next time we do this, I'll pull them all very similar to the way Lorraine and I do the weekly weigh-in, but it'll be all about me asking questions to Barb and having that conversation, really tapping into her experience and wisdom, what she did, wisdom.
Thank you.
So we're excited. So leave it down in the comments, and then Barb, if there was somebody curious about GLP-1s out there, what would you tell them today?
Oh, no matter how wonderful you imagine what it will be like as you lose the weight, as you get healthier, it is 100 times more than what you imagine it would be. Just get the shot in your body.
Yeah.
Do it. When we get off here, today's my shot day. So I'm going to be taking my shot. I started initially in April, May, June of 2022. And here we are in 26, almost 4 years. I do not skip it unless I have a medical reason to do it.
And do you have any regrets about it?
None, none. We just went through Christmas to jump real quick. We went through Christmas. It was my fourth Christmas on a GLP-1. I love food. I was a foodie. I was a food writer for many years. But the thought of focusing on the food instead of the people made me think, where are my priorities? What do I want to do? Do I want to hang out with these people for a long time because they're kind of fun? I'd like to hear their stories or write down their stories or share mine or whatever. Or do I want to just gobble, 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 gobble and be gone in a year and a half? So that's what goes through my mind when it was the holidays, is just all the stuffing and my mom's yams in the world didn't make up for the time that I want to spend with my family
Yeah,
and
no,
friends.
I think I'm absolutely with you on that one. You know that. Well, very good. So this was our very first episode. We'll have another episode next month. So leave questions underneath so Barb
Yeah,
can answer questions. Well, answer, GLP-1, obesity, whatever related things, even random things probably.
yeah, yeah.
But remember,
I'm
we're
a
not doc
writer. I was a midwife. You've got a whole plethora of things you can pull from.
Yep. And remember, we're not doctors.
No.
So some of the answers might be talk to your doctor, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, all right, Barb, before we get out of here, is there anything else we want to talk about?
Oh my. No, I'm just having fun. It's
Perfect.
just
We
it's
love it.
just amazing. Just having so much fun.
All right. Well, this has been our first episode of the Barb Sessions. So make sure you like and subscribe so you get alerted every time we publish a video, including the next episode of the Barb Sessions. I will leave all of Barb's social media contacts, YouTube, the whole nine yards in the description underneath, so that you can please go like, subscribe, watch her videos. She's trying to get monetized on YouTube and she needs watch hours. So go watch her videos. You can also go to her Substack. I'll leave a link for that as well. We want to make sure that this is a great, big, beautiful GLP-1 community, and there's plenty of room for
I'm
everybody
telling
out
you.
there to have a voice. All right.
Absolutely. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Christopher Durham, and we are The Downsize.